Well, hello, and welcome to a very special Trash with a Capital T, where we get trashy books and movies the love they truly deserve, and some deserve more than others. Normal episodes are posted here Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and my special episodes drop on Wednesdays, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is a requested review. Early on in the channel, I had put out a video asking if anyone had any requests for any YA middle grade series, specifically like the retro stuff, that they wanted me to cover. And I got a request. Specifically, I got a request from a good friend of mine's daughter. And she is actually reading, because a lot of these books that I was reading as a kid have been republished. And she is reading one of those series. That I didn't read this series when I was a kid, because this was part of the Babysitter's Club series, specifically Babysitter's Little Sister. I did not read that. This book came out, the original book, let me clarify. The original book, the actual chapter book, came out in 1988 when I was 4 years old. So I actually was in the age range, and like it came out in the time when I would have been reading this. But it was Babysitter's Club. And back in the early 90s, if you were a boy, you didn't openly read Babysitter's Club. Luckily, things have changed. Hopefully. But now I'm an old man, so I can read whatever I want. And today, I read the graphic novel adaptation of the first Babysitter's Little Sister book. So, this is a very special review for someone who definitely has been enjoying these books, but she has not read this one yet. So she will actually be getting my copy when this review is done. All right. So, Karen's Witch is the first book. We follow Karen Brewer, the stepsister of Christy, who is one of the main babysitters from the Babysitter's Club, as she tries to find out if her neighbor is a witch. And the basic message is maybe you shouldn't spy on people. It is very cute, very appropriate for young readers. This is a graphic novel, although it is broken up into pretty clear, easy chapters that a young reader could digest. Pages are large and bright and colorful, but not glossy. So they're actually pretty nice on the eyes, and the artwork is adorable. It does have kind of like a what's the right feel to it? Like a comic strip feel to it. It's not overly cartoony. I mean, obviously the characters are fairly simply drawn and cartoony, but the artwork is adorable. The characters are very expressive, and the page layout. Now, I'm going to do a serious comic book review here. The page layout in these is wonderful. They flow from panel to panel beautifully. It's not overcrowded. The pages are not busy, which is ideal for young readers who can get overwhelmed. This is a great early reader's book. The dialogue in here reads naturally. It doesn't read overly simple, but it also is not overloaded. As you can see, there is a good amount of writing on the page, and it is definitely something that you can work through with your early reader, but it's not overwhelming. Comic book layout is tricky. It takes talent to do, and this is very, very well laid out. So if you have a young reader who is interested in comics, this is a great starting point. Obviously, the content in here is perfect for young readers. It is pristine in its cleanliness, but it is also engaging. Karen as a character is fun. She is not perfect. She has her flaws. She lets her imagination get away with her, but she is a compelling and relatable character. It also deals with subjects like divorce in a age-appropriate way so that young readers can grasp it in a way that would make sense for them without over-dramatizing it or making anything too serious. So do be ready if you do read this series. It is something that is addressed, and I think it's addressed in pretty much every book, so it might be a conversation you're going to be having with your young reader. But the way the book handles it is really well done. And it approaches it, like I said, age appropriately. So as you can tell, I actually thought this was pretty good. Am I going to be reading more? Probably not. I'm not really the intended audience for this. But for its intended audience and the parents who are going to be reading it with the intended audience, I actually think this is really well done. And Scholastic impressed me with how it handled graphic novels. This is a beautifully done book. It also is very sturdy compared to the kinds of kids' books I was getting when I was my friend's kid's age. I am actually impressed with this. This is something that is definitely going to survive rereads. And if it doesn't get destroyed in other ways, it is something that could survive enough to be passed down to the next young reader in the household when they're ready. I also know there are graphic novel adaptations of the main Babysitter's Club series, as well as some other series. I know Bailey's School Kids have graphic novel adaptations. Goosebumps has some. So early reader, middle grade, they're really leaning heavily into the graphic novel format, and I think it's a smart move. This is something that is very engaging and can get kids interested in reading. Didn't really have this when I was growing up. Comic books were kind of looked down on, but now we are seeing them being kind of appreciated as a way to engage with reading in a new way that a lot of kids really enjoy because it does incorporate visuals as well as the reading aspect. So as you can tell, I think this was a big win. The story, I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm not going to spoil this one. But the story is very cute, and it has a moral at the end that I thought wrapped everything up very nicely. And I liked the way all the characters were handled. I highly, highly recommend this for parents of young readers. If you have a kid, especially who's interested in comic books or comic book art, this is a great place to start because the character designs. Now, I'm not saying this artwork is bad. I love this artwork. I think it is wonderfully adorable and expressive. But it's also something that your kid could like try and copy. So, it's something that I think would work really well for that early reader in your life. All right. I'm going to keep this review short, so I'm going to cut it off here. But if I had to give it I'm not putting this one on my Goodreads, but if I had to give it a rating, I would definitely say 4 out of 5 stars. 5 stars are reserved for the greatest of great books. So this is definitely a 4-star read for what it is and for who it's intended for. All right, guys. So love what you love. Enjoy what you're reading and watching. And maybe, you know what? In the spirit of this, share a book with someone. Read it with them or buddy read. Have some fun. Make your reading a group experience. And have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.